I have a message from the Village Jedi.
Max Rebo, hit it! Welcome to a special Star Wars point of view brought to you by the local Village Jedi. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. And welcome back, Grant, my husband. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I think we had an incredible finale that we're going to be able to discuss tonight, and I cannot wait to get into it. But before we do, I have a couple announcements, starting with Vanessa Marshall, who voices Rook Cast and Harrison Dula and Black Canary on the show Young Justice, sent us an autographed photo of her character from the Young Justice TV show. If you guys haven't watched it, this is a Star Wars podcast, but I will shout out DC and tell you to go watch that show because it is pretty great. So that was pretty amazing. Thank you, Vanessa Marshall. Another announcement is I designed a new logo for the show, so I hope you guys like it. It's a little more professional looking, because we were talking, Grant, I was like, I think having some merch would be pretty cool, like in the near future. So we talked a little bit about that, and the new logo hopefully will come into play with that in the future. A couple other announcements. Next week, I will be recording with Empire Radio Podcast and Outer Rim Ramblin' Podcast. So we'll have a couple bonus episodes just for you guys featuring the Village Jedi, and I will post the links to those on my episode Friday in the show notes on YouTube. But also, I'll be posting about it on my social media. So that's pretty exciting. It's exciting to get to know the fellow podcasting community and just be involved in the Star Wars world in that way, so that's exciting. And our episode next Friday will be just gearing up for The Mandalorian and Grogu. How are you feeling about that?
I'm getting excited.
Yeah, I'm getting really excited too. It's been marked on our calendar. We got the tickets the day they went on sale. We are really, really excited to be able to go see that together. And we talked a little bit about it. Grant was on last week for the May the 4th special. I guess that was this week, trivia. And I feel like we did okay with that, but there was definitely some stuff that I was like, I have no idea what this is even talking about. So
yeah,
go check that out.
Yeah, the EU is definitely beyond my scope of knowledge.
Yes, yeah.
I am excited for Mandalorian and Grogu. 2 weeks from now, so
how exciting for us.
It's crazy that it's almost here.
I know. Oh man, I'm so excited. One other thing I wanted to say, just kind of how we run the place, is if you're not following already, go check out our Instagram and TikTok page at The Village Jedi, or if you want an anonymous email to be read on and discussed on the show at the segment at the end, you can send an email at tvjpod@gmail.com. So before we dive in, why don't we go ahead and take a quick ad break. Hello there. If you are looking to build your collection, the Village Jedi is now collaborating with Saber Masters to offer you $20 off your first combat-ready laser sword. You heard that correctly, combat-ready. The team at Saber Masters makes it their personal mission to create lightsabers built to last using lightweight polycarbonate blades with customizable settings and simple navigation. Saber Masters has really crafted the ultimate experience. Saber Masters is always offering a great deal for Force users everywhere, but with my code TVJ20, you can save an extra $20 at checkout. Simply type in the code at the checkout screen, TVJ20, and you're done. Link will be in the show notes. Okay, so with all that out of the way, we do have a lot to yap about, a lot to chat about. First off, I was on pins and needles for this finale. Like, we pressed play and immediately I realized this is the end of season 1. Like, it's over. 5 weeks. That's crazy. 10 episodes. What did you think? Like, going into the finale, what were your original apprehensions, thoughts? I don't know. What were you thinking?
There was a direction that I don't want to say that I saw it going, because I was very pleasantly surprised with what we got in the finale. But there definitely did seem to be some you could see how the show was going to go. You could see how Maul was setting things up. You could see how his plan was coming together, especially with Devin. And so it's just I felt like it was just a matter of time. But I couldn't have been happier with the finale. So I'm excited for season 2, but also I guess I don't feel like I have to have more.
Right.
Like I don't. I feel satisfied with what we got just because it was so good. I don't feel like,
Yeah.
oh man, it has to get better. Like no,
No.
this was peak.
I do feel a similar way. Just this episode tied it up perfectly. Like there wasn't a sense of like, okay, well, what happens here? It was just a genuine sense of, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next. So it really did. It was a beautiful finale. It did exactly what it was supposed to, and I cannot wait to dive in and discuss it because there's so many key points. We were talking about it all weekend. Like as soon as we finished it, we had some stuff to do the rest of the day, and both of us were just like kind of speechless for the first hour or so because we just were trying to like not accept, but pretty much just digest what we had just seen, because a lot of the scenes, I'm sure listeners will agree, were pretty intense, some disturbing moments, and it just did leave you kind of rattled as a fan at some points. So we will get into all that. Chapter 9, right off the bat, Strange Allies. There was lots of action this week, non-stop. The last half just goes by so quickly. But we pick up Chapter 9 with Maul camped out in Demas's penthouse, and the gang here is still trying to figure out how they're going to get off-world. And so Maul meets with Dryden Voss, who is kind of aiming to be the head of the Crimson Dawn crime syndicate. And we also see his character in Solo. He's the same actor that plays Vision in the MCU movies. And we also see him briefly in a holo call at the end of the Siege of Mandalore arc, when Maul tells the syndicates to go into hiding. So Dryden ends up offering sanctuary and a ride off Janix in exchange for an assassination of Crimson Dawn's current leader, Boss Rintaro. So I thought I would ask you, at least for me, this felt like a good way to set up season 2. Like not in your face, but very subtle. Okay, this is kind of what we're going to be focusing on in this next set of episodes after this season.
Yeah, sure. Honestly, I guess from my own personal opinion, I'm not super interested in the time period that we're coming into.
Really?
Yeah, that so okay. With the exception of, I think that Andor was brilliant, of course.
Correct.
Rebels is brilliant, of course. Kind of the beginning of the rebellion, kind of that time period. But, and I guess not, Rebels was kind of right in the heat of it, but I don't know. Solo wasn't my favorite movie. And so I'm sure that this story will continue to be great. We're just kind of getting out of, I think, the period of time that I'm most interested in. But that's okay, because I think the storytelling is still really good.
Right. So would you say you trust Filoni? And Filoni you trust?
After season 1 of Maul Shadow Lord, I mean, the man can do whatever he wants.
Hashtag give it to Dave.
It's peak.
It's true. Okay, so Maul tells Rook and the other Mauldalorians to make preparations, but there's still one last thing I need to do. Maul is not planning on leaving Janix without Devin. And so with this in mind, he says, well, perhaps Captain Lawson can be of some use to us. And the scene ends with him closing his eyes. We cut to the intro credits. The Chapter 9, Strange Allies, is the name of the episode. So then we cut to the good guy gang, and they're kind of hiding out underground in this abandoned building in the city. And Devin's sleep is disturbed by Maul reaching out to her in the Force because they're connected. That was an incredible scene, and Docky ends up seeing this as a trick by Maul, but Devin is convinced that it's a chance to escape because she trusts him. So seeing their connection develop into this, at this point, she's like, no, we need to do what he says. I trust him fully. Has got to be terrifying for Docky, I'm sure. He's like, what happened here? Like, you don't think this is fishy at all? Even Lawson is like, I don't really know. And she's like, no, I'm sure we can trust him. We need to go meet up with him. Super crazy.
Well, and it's interesting what Master Docky says also is he knew that Maul had to have some sort of connection to Devin.
Yeah.
And that connection for Maul to communicate through the Force, he's using the dark side of the Force. So he's not, I mean, the Force is the Force, but he's using it in a certain way, and he's connecting with Devin in that way. So I don't necessarily know, the science behind that kind of Force communication, but it would make sense to me if Maul had already, the seed of the dark side of the Force had already kind of been planted.
The seed of Sith.
And that he was, I would imagine, as soon as he was able to tap into that and communicate with her across the Force, that was kind of a telltale that, hey, she's not headed down a very good path.
Right.
And here's some evidence.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So they end up finding Maul at the place that he told Devin to meet them. They all kind of meet together, and Maul ends up offering them a safe way to escape off-world together. And he mentions that he already believes that Lawson can help, and so this, we're learning, is how he wants to use Lawson, is you know the ins and outs of the city better than anyone. You're part of the local law enforcement, so you know the loopholes, kind of where, not so good doers would have a higher chance of getting around undetected. And so Lawson ends up knowing the best escape route with the city lockdown. So Maul proposes this. He says our only chance of escape is an alliance. And while the gang's talking it over, we talked about this. Maul is standing in the background, and it's sort of this watercolor blurred effect. And it just is such a testament to the creativity of the art style that even in the little things like the background, it just looks so cool. Especially that scene. He's standing in the background, but he just looks like this blurred watercolor. It looks really good.
Well, in that specific shot, he never moves. So I'm sure that it was, from what information they've been releasing, I'm sure that it was a watercolor. And because he doesn't move, it's not even animated.
Right.
So, yeah, I remember when it very first came out, and I was too naive to pick up on exactly what I was looking at. It really, the whole show has given me kind of a sort of Star Wars Visions kind of vibe. And not necessarily, I can't think of anyone in particular, but just kind of that extra artistic touch that we saw through different episodes and Visions. It's just kind of what it reminded me of. I absolutely thought it was stunning.
Yeah.
It was very, very well done, just in terms of just going above and beyond in the art style.
Yeah, I like it too. So Docky ends up saying, okay, well, let's do it, but we have to remain cautious of the Shadow Lord. And that just sent shivers down my spine when I was putting in the notes together. Like, that's what Docky refers to him as. That's what Vario refers to him as in the second episode, where he's kind of explaining to Lawson, like, hey, have you ever heard of the Shadow Collective? And so Maul's the Shadow Lord. And so it's just kind of another one of those full circle moments that we're getting with the finale, is the show name drop just in that one line of dialogue. So I thought that was cool. So they end up forming this alliance. They're going to make their way through the underground of the city to Dryden's rendezvous point. And Devin ends up revealing to Docky that she has this connection with Maul because he rescued her from the Inquisitor when her and Riley were on the run. And we learn that the way that the Force works in that sort of situation is, in order to communicate with someone else, like we saw, there needs to be an established connection. You have to open your mind to that person. And so I wrote down that we see that with Luke and Leia. We see Ben and Rey do this. We see it with Ahsoka and Vader, Kenobi and Vader. We see it with Luke and Kenobi. So you're using the Force to connect with someone else, but you have to open your mind to that person. It's not just a random stranger. Like, it has to be someone you formed a connection with. So just very telling of where her character is at right now. She trusts Maul. She's opened her mind to him. And as a viewer, you already know, like, okay, she's safe. Like, she's making it out of this season. She's making it out of this finale. The jury's still out for everyone else. Like, but we know these two are making it out. So very, very interesting. So we end up needing to get through an Imperial checkpoint. And I thought this was funny. One stormtrooper notices Maul. He's slowly walking toward them, dragging his blade across the ground. And immediately the stormtrooper goes, call for backup. Like, he sees Maul and he's like, But Spybot he jammed all the comms. Maul is just yet again so confident. He's not threatened at all. This battle ensues. Everyone's getting involved, even Riley. He picks up a gun. And Maul ends up taking out this walker single-handedly. Like, we saw this scene in the trailer, but just seeing it play out on screen, how nonchalant. Like, he's him. He is him. He walks into the room and he knows he's coming out unscathed. Just the confidence rolling off of this guy is phenomenal. So I loved that scene. And then at the very end, when he kind of slices it and dices it, he walks away and he just like reaches up and force grabs his saber. And I wrote down that it's a very like Iron Man-esque walking away from the explosion. Like, the aura coming off of this character is crazy. Every single week, you're like, he can't get cooler. And then he does. He somehow does. So that was crazy. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, there was just a small detail in that, in the Walker scene, where when Maul goes to cut off the leg,
right,
he hits the leg with his lightsaber, and it stops for a second, and then he pushes it through.
Right. Oh man.
And that's something that I feel is a little inconsistent in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we see the lightsaber. Like I just saw a clip today of Order 66 when Ahsoka, she's getting shot at by the 501st, and they're on the ship, and she cuts her way up into the ceiling. Super easy. But then Phantom Menace, they're cutting through the blast shields, the blast doors, and it takes some time to cut through that metal.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's a little inconsistency, but I like to see it. I feel just like it's a little more realistic that, hey, this is a gigantic steel leg. You don't just, of course, 2 seconds later he cuts through the whole thing and it's no big deal. But
right, but it did take some effort.
Took a little force, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a little tidbit that I like. It just kind of, I don't know, adds a little bit of realism, I think, to something that's not real.
Right. Yeah, so then after that, we end up cutting to the Inquisitors, and you and I were talking about this at length, that we see them, they are Jedi hunters. Like, I think you mentioned that they're slowly tracking the Jedi. They have been trained to hunt down Force users. So we see him, he's like using the Force Echo, touching, the area, trying to get a pulse, and like the Crow is using his senses. He's trying to figure out, okay, how many people are with them. Like, they are hunting these Force users. And I just liked how you said that, because I hadn't thought of it that way. Like, Maul obviously calls them that. Have you thought about what you're going to do when you run into the Jedi hunters? But when you see them in action, you're like, oh, this isn't a game. Like, they are tracking and hunting them down. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, and it's interesting because most of the time we see the Inquisitors almost as like a tactical team. Like, right. They show up and they're just here to fight. They're just here to fight Kanan, or they're just here to fight Ahsoka. But here they're actively looking, and it kind of gives some perspective of what's been going on We see it a little bit in Kenobi when they show up on Tatooine and they're, hey, we heard that there's been some force use going on here. But here, definitely, and as an outdoorsman, definitely just seeing like they're taking their time.
Yeah.
And you can see they survey the situation. It's very cold blooded, very they're not in a hurry because they're the predator.
Yeah, they don't
They're
want to
in
miss
control of the
anything.
situation. Like when they walk over the grate and they stop, they both are like, yeah, no, they didn't go this way. You're following the tracks. They're following whatever force signatures being left behind. Yeah, just very. It was just awesome. It was
Yeah.
awesome to see them at work and just cold. It was cold. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
and it's very on theme with other Inquisitor material we've seen where they work in pairs. And the reason for that is because each of them has a different skill set. And so the point is, I'm sure as an outdoorsman, you are more successful when you have a partner. Like maybe he saw something that you missed or you see something he missed. And so your chances of being successful are higher. You still want it to be you, like you still want to be the one that gets the thing, but you recognize the value of working as a team. And so I like that we see them working as a team, but you can still tell they're in competition. Like they do want to like please Sidious and be the one that comes out on top when the mission is said and done. So they're just cool characters, and I like how this show did a good job giving us another dimension and element to them. So we get back to the gang. We're headed to this underground jungle as quickly as possible. And when you look at it on the surface, it is an odd group, but I wrote down they're very capable. Like, I wouldn't want to run into this group. You got Maul, Rook, a couple Mandalorians. You've got Icarus, who's a Zabarak baddie. You have 2 Force users. One of them is a Jedi Master, a police captain, a droid. Like, they're kind of an odd bunch, but you can tell Maul was like, no, if we work with them, this is going to give us the best chance of getting off-world. It's not just because I care about them. It's because we have a lot of assets just in this small group. So I kind of liked that. And so Rook even says that. She goes, what do you want to do about the old man? And Maul goes, have some respect, Rook. He's a Jedi Master and we need him for now. And you really liked that line. You really liked that line.
I did. Just because I think some of your reels and stuff have been kind of poking fun at like turning Maul into a likable character.
Yeah.
And I think what this, especially dialogue like that, it really shows that Maul is a bad dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking bad. Slaughter of the innocent. I mean, he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. But he's smart. And he hasn't stayed alive this long. He hasn't been successful in his endeavors this long without respecting, and not necessarily respecting, but he never underestimates his opponent.
Right.
And so he doesn't underestimate. He's fought Docky. He knows what he's capable of. He knows how strong he is. He knows how well he's trained Devin. And so to the untrained eye, yeah, it's this old timer. But to Maul, he's like, no. You don't understand. This is he just respects his enemy, and that is what leads him to be so successful, is he never comes in unprepared.
Yeah.
Until the end of this episode.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. So then we cut back to that burning Imperial checkpoint that Maul and the gang kind of left, and the Inquisitors arrive. And Merrick, he approaches one of them who begins to report the incident. He's like, sir, like, here's what happened, blah, blah. And Merrick walks up to him and he tilts his head and he's slowly getting closer to the trooper. And then the trooper kind of like starts to slow his words. And as Merrick walks away, the trooper kind of like drops his head. And so rewatching this, I was assuming Merrick probably searched his mind to quickly gather the info. Like, they are not wasting time. They're like, we are on the hunt. We're getting closer. And if we don't make our move now, they're gone. Like, we know they have a ship. We know they're trying to escape. You need to talk faster. Like, I don't have time for this. And I really liked that detail. They are, like, ruthless.
And in hindsight, I can't remember. I feel like they say something along the way that indicates that they know where they're going.
Yeah.
And I can't remember where exactly in the episode that is, but what I like is that's probably another reason why they're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
Is they know that they are funneling them into, I don't know what else you would call it, a kill box, basically,
right.
where there's
Which
one way in.
Know. Yeah.
There's one way in and maybe one other way out. But
yeah.
they know that it's unlikely that they'll even make it to the other way out.
Right.
So that's why they're not in a huge tear, is because, hey, once we get there, we got them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do feel like rewatching this episode, knowing who they're working with, adds to their urgency. That, yeah, they're not in a hurry to get this done, but they are in a hurry to, like, they don't want to waste Vader's time. They're like, we're on a schedule, and he's our boss, and so we need to be at this point at this time. So tell me what I need to know so that we can keep this rolling, because he's going to be here soon, and we've got to get our ducks in a row for him to fillet alive. So, yeah. So we cut back to them, and they have reached the city's toxic waste dump, and the most efficient way to cross ends up to have Spybot sort of pushing this skiff across the acid 2 at a time. And you actually were like, why can't Spybot just carry them? Like, I saw them carry a stormtrooper. Like, why can't they just carry him?
Yes, it still bugs me, because we were like, well, maybe it's over his like load capacity.
Yeah.
There's a scene in episode, I don't know, I can't remember. It's when they're on the bridge, and it's Riley and Devin and Maul, and they're on the bridge, and Spybot grabs a stormtrooper and yanks him off the building, like carries him. So I know he can do it. Anyways, that was just a small thing, but you got to make it dramatic somehow.
It's true. We've got to add some sort of element here.
Yeah.
So Lawson and Riley end up going first. They have this heart-to-heart conversation where Lawson's like, I haven't really been there for you, and like Riley's like, it's okay, Dad. Like, look at the bright side. This is the most time we've spent together, and yeah. I know, bro. Looking back, when I tell you, rewatching that episode in prep for the show, knowing what I know now, I'm like, wrap it up.
I could tell. Yeah, I could tell something was up. I knew it wasn't going to be good.
Oh, man. Like, it totally went over my head, because when he died, like, I was not expecting it. It felt like someone took me out at the knees. I was like, whoa, what do you mean?
And that's another point that I want to kind of talk about a little later. But
yeah, we'll get into that. So, on the other side, Docky is the first to sense approaching Inquisitors, and so this is a reflection of his years of training. Then Maul feels it, and then Devin feels it, and so Docky and Devin end up taking sort of like a defensive position, and Maul walks closer to the tunnel. He's ready for the frontal attack. And so again, just these little details that the animators put into making these characters real is, of course, Maul would do that. He's not going to stand behind them. He's not going to stand next to them. He's going to leave them in the dust. I'm going to see what's up. I'm ready to take them out. And Docky and Devin are not like that. They're like, no, let's see what we're up against first. Let's take a beat. We've got to protect the civilians. Just very, very good. And so the Inquisitors, they come running in, the fight ensues, and we're pretty much here for the rest of the episode. It's a very close quarters, intense fight, fast-paced. At this point, I was pretty optimistic, but rewatching it, these two, and really the last 3 episodes, sort of play out as like a Rogue One storyline where Maul is just slowly becoming the last one standing. And you're not thinking that going into it. You're like, oh, Dryden's going to come rescue him. It's going to be fine. But rewatching, you're like, oh, this is a suicide mission. Like, none of them are making it out of here. Even Maul, he's like can barely walk at the end of it.
And
Crazy.
And Rook, to her defense, saw this coming.
Right.
She knew that they were out of time. She knew that the noose was tightening around them, and she tried to get Maul to leave much sooner. You're going to keep
multiple
your men.
Times.
We're going to keep our money. We're going to get out of here. And Maul, in his stubbornness and in his plan, he had to see it through. And that's one of the reasons I do think that he is typically successful is because of his determination. But here, no, it absolutely backfired. But I will say that this lightsaber battle could be top 3 of the greatest lightsaber combat scenes that I've ever witnessed. The choreography was just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason that Revenge of the Sith, man, some people are going to just absolutely just take this so personally, but I think Revenge of the Sith will stay on top because it was real.
Right.
I mean, that was Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, and they actually did that.
Right.
They actually had that lightsaber duel in front of a camera. Real people did that, which is just beyond incredible. But in terms of, I mean, I'm going to be watching this one over and over and over again.
Well, I wrote down too that this episode possibly gives us one of the coolest shots I've ever seen in Star Wars, which is it's a 2v3 fight. If you pause it just right, there's 8 blades, 2 blue, 6 red, and both Inquisitors have Daki, Maul, and Devin in the middle. They're on either side, and they bring their blades down, and each of the 3 are pushing up. So it makes like this rectangle shape for half a second. And I've been seeing it online a lot. People want this poster because it's just such a sick shot. And it tells you so much story in one frame. And so I think that is just so tough. Like you were saying, it's a fight that you're going to watch over and over again. But that moment is just, it's so crisp. So during this fight, Merrick, he says, well, you will see your demise. And Maul goes, you are but another pawn of Darth Sidious. Surely you know he has dispatched you to die just as he did me. And so this gives us insight into how Maul views his fight in The Phantom Menace against Kenobi and Qui-Gon. That he's like, dude, he doesn't care about you. He's sending you into this fight knowing you're going to lose, just like me. He knew I was going to lose that fight. And I just think that is such good insight to have as a Maul fan, that originally when you watch The Phantom Menace, you're like, oh, bummer. But then when you see him again, he loathes that fight. He wishes it never happened. He hates Sidious because he knows Sidious knew he was going to lose. It just adds so much dimension to that whole duel in that movie. So I really liked that line. And then shortly after, because he's mad, Merrick ends up killing Spybot, and it sends Maul into this surge of rage because that was his bestie. It was his chihuahua. It's just very, very sad. A lot of people are sad. Did you like Spybot? I feel like I could have taken or leaving him. Maybe that's mean, but
Spybot was like a mangy dog. He was awful to look at. He just sounded terrible. But yeah, I don't know. I can see why, and I've seen the meme. That's the nice thing about recording so much, a couple of days afterward.
Yeah.
We get to ingest our own reactions, and we get to see people's content. And he's like the dog that Dad didn't want and swore that he wouldn't take in, not in my house. And then like 20 minutes later, he's like, okay, fine, he can
sitting
stay.
on the recliner with him.
Yeah, exactly. He's riding front seat in the pickup. Yeah, no.
That is so true.
I don't know. It was just like, you could tell it was probably the only thing that Maul actually like might have had affection for.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, dang, he really, as my mom would say,
they're
he can't have
house.
anything nice.
Yeah. They were cleaning house. Not even Spybot was safe. Yeah, so Daki asks Devin, I wrote this down, I thought it was interesting. Daki urges Devin to go across next, and she resists. And it isn't until she locks eyes with Maul, he nods, and then she boards the skiff and makes her way across using the Force. So it's another small indicator of where her loyalties lie. That her master was like, okay, go. And she looks at Maul, and Maul is like, yes, you can go. Go ahead. And she's like, oh, okay. I just want to make sure that was okay with you. Like, it's just so wild. Like, we keep seeing these moments where you're like, he's got her. She's gone. Like, Daki has no control over her whatsoever. He might think he does, she might think he does, but the truth is in, what do they say? The pudding doesn't lie. The proof.
Oh, you're close.
The proof is in the pudding.
There you go.
The pudding doesn't lie is crazy.
Well, what's interesting to me is how was Maul so effective?
Right.
He was close with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
At the end of Clone Wars. I mean, if he'd just said a couple of things differently, he would have had her. He would have had her instead of Devin.
Yeah. No, it's true.
So it's one thing I just don't quite understand. He knew what not to do from Sidious because he knew how much that messed him up. But how is he able to? I guess it's almost not even quite manipulation. It's convincing.
Right. So I actually touched on that on a past episode, and maybe we had this discussion. He recognized that she was on the fence. She wouldn't have been a valuable asset if she wasn't on the fence. And so I think because she was on that fence, all he had to do was tip her a little bit. She was already thinking, this doesn't seem right. I have more potential than this. Why are the Jedi just basically the scum of the earth now? Like, this is not fair. And all he had to do was be like, yeah, you're right. It's not fair. Don't you think you deserve a little bit better? Like, making her think that this is what she wants by preying on what she isn't even sure that she wants. If that's at least my interpretation. Yeah,
but he implanted those thoughts in her mind.
It's true. The way he worded things.
So it's super interesting that it's very slow. It's very methodical. We see it took 10 episodes for him to convince her. And so it's just interesting to me that he seemed to know exactly each step to take without any real practice.
Right.
So it's just interesting. I don't know if you can just chalk that up to him just being super smart or just having insight into the failings of the Jedi and recognizing that as a weakness and preying on it.
And she's young. Like, I think we forget that. She's maybe 16.
Right. Knowing that Padawans want respect and attention. And yeah, I'm sure there's some of that too.
Yeah, so people
just interesting.
Like, he's old. Not old. He's in his 30s, but like, how many 30-year-olds did you respect when you were 16? More than, like, if you had a bond with an adult as a teenager, you respected them. You wanted them to like you. You cared about what they thought. You wanted to know. You wanted to kind of be like them. And so I think he just preyed on that too. Like, hey, you're a kid. And if I get you to kind of like me and kind of agree with me and kind of think I'm cool, you'll do what I want you to do. So, yeah, pretty interesting. So then we see Icarus, and his death is actually insane. Like, he goes out in this just absolutely horrific fashion. There's blaster bolts. He jumps into the acid lake. Like, I needed a second after that, but you can't. It just shoves you into the next thing. Like, everything is happening so fast, and you're seeing this horrible thing, and then this horrible thing, and then this thing, and you're like, oh my goodness. So when I saw that, I was disturbed. Like, I could not believe what I just saw. So that was wild.
I think there were a couple of things there's probably more, but just a couple of things that I gleaned from that. The realism of that battle that so many times we see in Star Wars, with the exception of like Rogue One, and maybe a few other times, battles are so lopsided towards the side that you're rooting for. If
Right.
you're rooting for the clones, if you're rooting for the Jedi, if you're rooting for the rebels, man, they just win.
It's
And it's not
true.
even close. Well, the stormtroopers, they can't hit the in real combat, there is mutual loss,
Yeah.
especially if you're evenly matched. And
Right.
so I thought that his death and the death of the other Mandalorians that were still around was realistic. I
Yeah.
mean, he's not a Jedi, and
Yeah.
he can only hold your own for so long. So I took that away. It just added that kind of layer of like, oh yeah, this is real.
True.
And the internal fortitude of Dothmerian Zabrax. Why is Maul the toughest, meanest, baddest guy? Because Zabrax are tough.
Yeah, it's true.
And so we see one that's not even force sensitive take how many shots to the chest? And
Yeah.
he's not, I mean, he's got to melt before
Yeah.
he's done.
It's
That's
true.
I mean, that's tough. That's tough.
And
So
and I
Maul can get
think
his legs chopped off and fall down a shaft and still live because he's tough.
yeah, and I think that is such a good point, especially when you think about how he was able to bond so well and form such a mutual trust with Mandalorian culture, is because, like Zabrax, they believe in an honor system. And so if you're going to go out, you go out with honor. Like, you go out swinging, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what we saw. So
Yeah, brotherhood.
yeah,
Brotherhood is
exactly.
huge on Dothamir.
And in Mandalorian culture. So it's pretty interesting. That was a good point. So Maul ends up urging Docky to cross next, and then Maul unclips his blade and holds two sabers in each hand as he engages in the last fight before he's able to cross himself against the Inquisitors. And at this point, as viewers, we're like, okay, that was it. That was the big fight. Now we head into some sort of resolution. We're setting up for season 2. But then Merrick says, inform him they are headed his way. We were speechless, bro. We were like, yo, bro, like, it's about to get crazy. It's about to get crazy. So Docky is able to sense that there's two Inquisitors coming through the tunnel, but there was no indication that any of these Force users were able to sense what they were headed toward until they got there. And so Docky ends up sensing it shortly before we hear screams of the Mandalorian soldier that scouted ahead with Rook. Rook comes back. She warns the gang. She's like, someone is out there. And then she's ripped into the fog. She screams out of agony. And then there's just silence. And the whole gang is just like, and then we hear the breathing. We see the haunting silhouette of the Dark Lord himself emerge from the fog. He ignites his red blade, and the episode ends. Like, can you imagine having to wait until next week? I can't even imagine. The fact we were able to just hit play after that, I was like, oh, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. That is insane. That whole scene was just, what a way to make an entrance. And if you guys have seen anything about Vanessa Marshall, that girl's crazy too.
Yeah, that's pretty sick and twisted.
Yeah.
That's one thing that we continue to see is when we see Vader, he's the big bad. He's the big bad. And the EU made him the big bad, and he has stayed that way.
Yeah.
His character was not watered down. And as we get into the last episode, there's really some interesting details that I think keep him in that you don't ever want to come into contact with Darth Vader category.
Yeah. Well, and I saw something, I'm sure you saw this too, but a fan was basically like, why is Darth Vader so OP? And Dave responded, it's because it's George's character. Like, if you claim to be a real Star Wars fan, you're not going to come up with someone stronger than Darth Vader. Like, please. There are 6 movies centered around why he is the way he is. He's the main character of all 6 films. So
He's him.
He's him. So we get into Chapter 10, The Dark Lord, and originally there was no title. There is now, but for a while on Disney Plus it just said Chapter 10 and there was no title. So it's called The Dark Lord. I was absolutely floored. We both were. We posted a little reaction video on Instagram, just clips of us being absolutely floored. And I wrote down, like, what a time to be a Star Wars fan, genuinely. Like, Dave Filoni is such a mastermind because none of this feels forced. Like, having Vader close out the season does not feel like tacky fan service. It makes sense. We know that Maul doesn't die. We know that Merrick and the Crow don't die. So how was this supposed to go down? And this makes sense. It doesn't feel like a cheap shot. It's like, oh, duh.
Yeah, and the progression too. So we see Merrick first. Mm-hmm. He's going to come and he's going to try and handle the situation.
And he's terrifying.
He's terrifying. He's outgunned. Here comes the Crow.
Also terrifying.
And
he doesn't
also
even speak.
Also very strong. They both can't quite make it happen. Okay. Time for the big bad.
Yes.
And it makes sense that they wouldn't just keep sending Inquisitors because Vader has a vendetta, or I should say Anakin has a vendetta against Maul.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Palpatine does too.
Yeah.
So you're kind of, stepping on some sensitive toes.
Right.
So it makes sense that he's there to make sure that Maul does not live beyond that day.
No, it's true. So we just jump right back into the action. We still haven't really caught our breath, and the gang has just lost theirs. Like, they are absolutely speechless. They stare into the eyes of Vader for the first time. Sidious's checkmate, like, you're done. And someone online said that if there was any Anakin left, do you think he thought of Ahsoka when he saw Maul? Because that was their last interaction, was he was leaving to save the Chancellor and she was leaving to capture Maul. So I thought I would pitch that to you. What do you think?
I don't care. I don't care what was on his mind. And I think that the lack of dialogue, I was going to wait till like later.
Yeah. We'll talk about that too. Yeah.
But I think that the lack of dialogue turns him from, it takes away any Anakin that you thought was still in
humanity.
There. It turns him into a killing machine.
Yeah.
He is
man.
Machine.
Yeah.
He is there to destroy these Force users.
Yeah.
He doesn't care who they are.
That's
he
true.
He is going to take them out.
Yeah, no
and
thoughts.
And there's no emotion.
Yeah.
We see in the beginning of the lights of their combat, one-handed, arm down, classic Vader, I'm just here to walk you down. That's it. And so I don't think there was any thoughts. He was there, hey man, I'm just here to do what I got to do. And, that's unfortunate for you, but you shouldn't have been a Jedi.
Right. Yeah, so I wrote that. Like, Vader, he just starts making easy work. He slashes one of Maul's legs, which ends up limiting him for the rest of this fight. He force pushes all of them. They're easily outmatched, and Vader hasn't uttered a single word because he doesn't need to. He just lets his actions speak. He's walking. Like, he's in no hurry. He's got him right where he wants him, and they're just scrambling. So we actually picked up on this and I looked it up. It's very similar to the Yavin 4 Battlefront map. It's called the Great Temple, and it's sort of this ancient city ruins, mossy, like very vibey, and it's in the daytime. So any vibes that we had at night that we've had this whole show, we need to see this in full daylight, which is such an interesting artistic choice considering it would have been somehow even more scarier at night. Like, it's pretty terrifying now, but if it would have been at night, I think it would have been very similar to that sort of street scene that we get in Kenobi, where he's just walking down the street and everyone's like closing their shutters and like hiding, locking their doors, and it's nighttime and Vader's just like slowly walking through the street. And he was just walking. So I can't imagine seeing this kind of work being done at night. Like, crazy.
Yeah. And I love that it happened during the day. We see so much lightsaber combat happen in a dim lit building or in the dark or at night, and it adds this certain kind of just that extra flash and that extra contrast with the lightsabers. And we see just with so many times we just see that even especially in the OT, all the lightsaber duels were maybe except for when Ben gets killed, but most of the lightsabers that we see are in the dark.
Right.
But here it's in the daytime. And I just love that, not every lightsaber duel had to happen at night. And it still doesn't take away the, I guess,
intensity.
How terrifying Vader was. And to see him in broad daylight, the Dark Lord of the Sith, it's like, whew, okay, yikes.
Yeah, it's pretty sketchy. So I wrote down it's Vader in this 3v1 fight, and he's able to just attack him one-handed. He uses the Force with one hand, and he uses his lightsaber with the other. And the strength of his attacks is what makes him powerful. Yeah, he's got the tactical maneuvers, he understands, but whatever Maul is able to do, whatever Doc or Devin is able to do, Vader can do it too, but he's stronger. And so that's what makes him such an effective adversary, is he can do exactly what you can do, just 10 times stronger. So
which means that he's never on the defensive.
Right.
And as a Sith Lord, he is, I mean, that's the whole, Maul is constantly feeding on that scenario that he's the attacker. And so he's able to channel the dark side. But when it comes to being on the defensive, that's a Jedi thing.
Yeah.
And so Vader is never forced into that defensive position for more than like 2 seconds the whole time.
Yeah. I wrote down that he's like a black hole of anger. And one of the books I read describes Anakin's inner self as a sleeping dragon. And so when he's a Sith Lord, that dragon never sleeps. Like, your only strategy against him is to be able to run away. Because like a black hole, if you get close, that center of gravity is what sucks you in. Like, your only chance of survival is to be able to get far enough away. And so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to run. And so Vader, he crumbles these city ruins above them. We cut to the credits, and all we see is red letters, the Dark Lord. And that's exactly what he is. It feels very like final boss in a video game, but you aren't winning. Like, I saw this one girl, and she was playing, I think she was playing Jedi Fallen Order. And there's this part where you fight Vader, and your health bar disappears. And she's like, oh no, what's about to happen? And pretty much the whole premise is like, you're not winning. Like, you don't have a health bar because you're not walking away. So that's very what the vibes are here. So they're just scrambling. They're trying to run away. Maul's like limping. Dockie's got his cane. Devin's like scurrying. Like, they're just trying to get away. So we cut back to the good guy gang, the Lawsons, and Vario ends up getting a signal from Dryden that they're on the way. So we're trying to get to the point here. And so Dockie, he says, this enemy is something different. I fear what my instincts are telling me. And Maul starts panically whispering to himself. He's like, it can't be. No, no, no. And so Devin asks them both how to defeat it. And Maul suggests you need to let go of all your restraint, feed your anger, go out all frontal attack. Like, we need this guy dead. We can't win unless we all three feed into what this guy's running off of. Because he knows your attacks. So Daki warns against this. He says, no, we have to follow the Jedi way. We need to use patience and cunning. To which Maul counters, our enemy knows how Jedi fight, and we must adapt and outsmart him. Well, on the flip side, yes, Vader knows how Jedi fight, but he also trains Sith. So it's like, unfortunately for them, there isn't really a way to win. Like, okay, we can think like Jedi, but guess what? He's a retired Jedi. If we think like Sith, he trains Sith, and he's a Sith Lord. So, like, you're hosed. Like, you are hosed. There is no win.
Well, and it shows you that... excuse me. Grass season.
Love it.
It shows you that Maul really... He did not know.
Yeah.
He did not know what they were up against.
None of them
we saw
did.
through the whole show. He was preparing to fight the Inquisitors. He's preparing to maybe do what he has to do with Master Daki. But there's a point where he locks blades with Vader, and he says, "You're no Inquisitor.
Yes.
What are you?
What are you?" And Vader's just
And
nothing.
so Maul is trying to come up with a plan. He's like,
right. He's
never
a strategist.
He's never fought anybody like this. I mean, he's
Yeah.
fought Sidious, but that was clearly clearly Sidious is crazy.
Right.
But so now when they're kind of like, okay, we need to regroup, he's trying to come up with a plan. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He's guessing, and he's trying to do his best, and he has to improvise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So they end up taking a brief break so Maul can rest his leg, and he begs Devin to listen to him. He reveals that his own master was Darth Sidious, who now made himself the Emperor. He says, use your rage and unleash your potential. Like, if you're going to come in clutch, it's now, sister. Like, you need to turn it on. I know you have it. I've seen it, and now is the time. But Daki, he overhears this, and he's like, Devin, you need to go assist the Lawsons. Like, I want you to go ahead and take care of them. So he's trying to separate them. He's like, his last shot right now is get her away from him. And he ends up saying to Maul, if we defend one another, we'll be stronger. Which is ironic rewatching it, because that's not what happens. It's when they stop defending each other that they end up losing. Then we get this jump scare. I actually screamed when Vader like force pushes the stone wall, and it's like inches from Maul's head. I was so scared. Like, it caught me so off guard. Oh my goodness. Like, just little moments like that. So then this battle with Vader continues, and 2 more players are added as Devin runs into the Inquisitors on the stone bridge ruins. Vader appears, he pushes Maul and Daki, and so now it's 3v3 with the Sith pushing their opponents closer like a funnel. So at this point, you're starting to sweat. You're like, okay, who's gonna die? Like, the only person I know for sure that's not making it out is Daki at this point. Like, because we see Merrick, we see the Crow, we see Vader, we see Maul, we know Devin is, he'll do anything to keep her alive. So it's just not looking good.
It wasn't looking good.
It's not looking good. But the fight is still entertaining. That's what's crazy, is you know how it's going to end, but you're still on the edge of your seat. You're still wondering, okay, how is this going to go down? Because Vader is just so cool. You're like, oh, what's he going to do next? I know he's going to absolutely dominate, but what's going to happen? So Devin, she's able to evade the 2 Inquisitors after Daki throws her his saber. So she's using both of them. And I wrote that in future seasons, I could see her using 2 red blades then, especially if she's going to be trained by Maul. He sees the value in using 2. We see her using both in that moment to fight the Inquisitors. I could see, I keep doing that. I could see something like that, and I think it would fit her character just fine. At this point, though, everyone is exhausted. It's been a long couple days, and I was thinking about it. This whole season only takes place over the course of like 3 or 4 days. When you think about it, it is fast. There is not a single filler episode, not a single filler moment. Everything has purpose. So we're all exhausted.
Yeah, no Martinez sisters in this show.
No kidding. So we cut to the Lawsons. They're slowly making their way to the pickup point. And let's see, we run into an Imperial unit instead. They run for cover. Everyone is pinned down. You're not really sure how this is going to end. Vader still hasn't said a single word. The choreography is so fast. It's just everything is happening a mile a minute. Like, you don't even have time as a viewer to digest what you just saw because it cuts to the next important thing.
Well, I think that the lightsaber duel is, well, it's not a duel, I guess, because there's more than two of them, but it's so good that even as you're talking about like what's going on with the Lawsons, which is action packed, it almost feels like filler compared to what we're
You're
watching.
like, no, get me back, get me back.
It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, they're still there. Yeah, great. They're shooting it out.
Yeah,
But
pew 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 kind of
yeah,
stuff.
can we just go back to like the best thing I've ever seen? I mean, and that's terrible, but it just shows you not how like lame that was, but how incredible
Good, yeah.
this
Yeah.
this lightsaber battle just
Is it crazy to say that I wanted Maul to say Anakin Skywalker just once?
I don't think he was ever sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ever sure. He never, other than when he went to run him over with the dune buggy, he never really meets Anakin.
Yeah.
So I don't think, he's guessing, I think, at this point, but I don't know if he ever really comes to the full realization in this season.
Well, I wrote down, I was going to say it later, but he doesn't even figure out Vader's name. None of them do. And so we know just from that there's going to be at least one more run-in or one more reference because we've got to figure out how does Maul learn that information. It could be from Dryden Voss that, hey, yeah, Palpatine has this weapon and his name is Vader and he's a bad dude. He's been causing havoc all over the galaxy. It could be something like that. Or it could be a run-in with Sidious himself, you know. So I'll be excited to see that. We end up making some headway with Docky sending Merrick over the edge into the fog below. And now it's Devin versus the Crow and Maul Docky versus Vader. So it's kind of looking up at this point. Like, everyone's going to be able to escape. Dryden's on his way. He just calmed Vario. And we're getting there. But then we cut to the Lawson crew, and they're starting to lose their headway. Like, it was looking good, and now it's looking terrible, because right after that scene, we cut back to the sword fight. Docky says to Maul, okay, together we can do this, and there's just no relief after that. Maul's leg gets damaged even more. Vader is just making fools out of these guys. He hasn't even broken a sweat. And he's throwing them around like rag dolls. He like force chokes Maul and throws him around. And I wrote down that if anyone has a problem with this, they don't understand Vader's character at all. Because in the Sith world, the strongest is the one who is the most hurt, and no one is more hurt than Anakin Skywalker. He has truly lost everything. And the only thing in the machine is hatred, is hurt, is pain. So Maul, as powerful as he has a sob story, everyone does. It'll never be as terrible or as sinful as the burdens Anakin has to carry with him for the rest of his life. So
Yeah, Palpatine manufactured his apprentice.
yeah, so no one can ever say like, oh, they nerfed Maul. Like, why didn't he win that fight? Bro, no one wins against Vader. Is this your first day on Earth? Please. So we see an injured Maul. He's standing between Docky versus Vader and Devin versus Crow. He utters the word no. He's afraid. And so then he makes this calculated decision to force push Docky into Vader's grasp. And he limps away toward Devin, which effectively sends Docky to his death. And this was a calculated choice. We had a debate about this, that it was not cowardly on his part. Because Maul had to decide that it's either going to be we both die or just you. Like, either way, someone isn't making it out of this, and I'm not going to be one of the two that don't. So, pretty cut to the core moment when he did that. I was shocked, frankly. I don't know why I was, but I was.
See, this is the one that I wasn't shocked by.
Yeah.
I knew that Maul wanted him out of the picture, and it was just a matter of how
Right.
and when. And by not having to kill him himself, he is able to become Devon's kind of confidant, to
It's
become
true.
her where she,
Comforter. I
yes,
understand.
the gentle master who, I will help you, I will train you, I will assist you in our vengeance,
Yeah.
because I didn't kill him. I didn't do these horrible things to you. They did.
Well, didn't I tell you? I feel like I did that. Sam Witwer, in an interview with Voice of Maul, he said that this show is not good versus evil; it's bad versus worse, and we see that with this. That, oh yeah, Maul's a bad guy. Like, I almost forgot. Like, he had me there for a second. So it really is. Like, he is a bad guy. He does what he has to do in a bad way. He's aligning himself with crime syndicates. And unfortunately, he had to make a tough call against an even worse bad guy. So just because he's been doing okay throughout the show doesn't mean he's a good guy now. And we saw that right here. He's still serving his own self-interest and self-agenda. So,
Yeah, and I don't think he was ever really trying to put on a persona of not being a bad guy.
right.
Like he tells Devin in the towards the beginning of the show, he says, "You know what I am. You
Right.
know who I
I
am."
can act as that person if you wish.
Exactly. You know what kind of, you know, I'm a bad dude.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, him pushing Docky into Vader was definitely, it was part of his plan. It was part of his agenda. He just found the means and the opportunity to go with what he was already intending to do.
Right. So Vader ends up relentlessly power slamming. He can just go all day. And we cut to Devin. She has this concerned voice where she says, "Master." And she runs to the ledge to look down. And so we as an audience assume, oh, she senses he's in danger. She's going to go help him. But when she looks, it's Vader just standing there with his saber piercing Docky. Like, speechless, gut-wrenching, all the feels. This is not a kid's show. Like, if we thought Icarus was the worst, this scene, hands down, like, it gave me like my stomach rolled, you know, because she screams in rage. She starts going absolutely crazy in her duel against the Crow. Maul limps around the corner and just offers his red blade. And so she takes it, and the two end up fighting the Crow together. At that point, it's sealed. It has been sealed. She's going with him. She's sticking with him. She's connected to him. And yeah,
And
very,
Vader's
very
not
intense.
done.
No, and he's still, and they're still on the run. They're still on the run. So Dryden, he prepares to land, and in order to secure Riley's safety, Lawson sacrifices himself as a distraction. I didn't see this coming personally. I don't know if you did. But coming off of Docky's death, my system was too shocked to process this as well. Like, it is back to back within probably 30 seconds. And so it doesn't take away Lawson's sacrifice, but it definitely does make you like, whoa, what do you mean? Like, hold on. Because you're still in shock with the graphic death of another beloved father figure character that has just been taken away. So,
Well, I think that obviously I was disappointed.
yeah.
I was disappointed to see his character die. However, It is on par with Star Wars, especially the beginning of the rebellion.
Right.
Meaningless loss of life.
Yeah.
He felt, this is what I have to do.
It's the only way.
Send Two Boots.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
give
it's
Two
true.
Boots the gun. Two Boots goes. He stays with his son. No.
Or wait
Meaningless.
half a second for Maul and Devin. The sword slinging,
So this meaningless loss of life creates a fertile environment for Riley to hate the Empire, to hate what it's done to his family. It's taken away his dad. It's taken away his mom. The mom's going to be a key player. Whatever she does in the Empire is going to come into play in season 2. I'm calling it right now. There's no reason that she would be in the Empire. There's no reason that she would be out of their life and even be mentioned, let alone shown on screen, if that was not going to be a factor. So now he's aligned himself with I don't know what you want to call it, a crime syndicate / rebel group, basically, with a hatred for what they've done to his dad.
True.
And what they did to his whole life, this aspiring athlete. So on one hand, yes, it was tragic, and I was disappointed that it happened, but you can see that they are absolutely, it's like winding up the catapult. Like they're just getting ready for
more
things to come.
character development.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. So then we cut back to the duel. Maul watches Devin tap into her anger even more. The crow ends up running, and Vader comes around the corner to take her on himself. Maul wants to protect her now. He screams no, and he brings the ruins of the city down on top of Vader in an effort to save Devin. She runs toward him and away from Vader, but in her anger, she's just seething. And as he gets closer, she turns to face him again, and Maul grabs her. He says, "Devin, we must go." And she says, "No, I will kill him." And the subtitles say that her voice distorts at the tail end of that sentence because she's tapping into the dark side at this point. And Maul responds, "You are not yet strong enough, but I will train you, and we will have our revenge." And at that point, she turns in and goes with him. She trusts him. So the two end up running toward Dryden's drop point. They board the ship just in time, and Vader watches the ship fly away. They really, really did a good job finishing that out. They didn't even get his name. They didn't hear him speak. All they know is he is just this monster of the Sith, consumed with darkness and power that they cannot rival, even with 3 of them. So Riley, obviously, is absolutely devastated. Devin is angry. Maul reassures Dryden that his end of the deal will be upheld, and then disappears to the lower deck, where he sits down next to Devin, who's clutching Maul's saber hilt. And all she says is, "All right, I'm ready." And the season ends. So, pretty phenomenal. Round of applause. I hope season 2 gets announced soon. I can't think of a good time where it would. May the 4th just happened. I don't know why I was assuming they would announce season 2 at that point, but we'll see. A couple afterthoughts. I had some questions. Are the duels in this show do they top Revenge of the Sith? We kind of talked about that a little bit. You're
Yeah,
like, blur my face and I'll be honest.
Yeah, no kidding. It's definitely I would probably say it's the best animated lightsaber duel
Right.
that we've seen.
No, I agree. Both these episodes had such strong action moments that
Yeah.
I will be rewatching.
Yeah. I don't like the Palpatine Yoda lightsaber duel.
In Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like it. I never really have. It's always kind of been like my least favorite part of the movie. But yeah, it's probably almost number two.
Yeah. It's
To
pretty
me,
good.
I don't know. There was nothing I didn't like about it.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I think artistically it was wonderful. Voice acting phenomenal. It's so fast.
The
There wasn't.
choreography was excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. So I had another question. Do you think Devin will walk away from Maul when she finds out the truth about Dockie's death? Because we don't see her in Rebels, so we don't know what happens to her.
I don't think she'll ever find out.
Interesting.
Nobody saw it
It's true.
except Vader.
Yeah, and he's never going to talk to her.
So I don't see her ever. I don't see her ever knowing. And yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
that's what I think.
Next question. I have two more. What will happen to Riley and Two Boots? Because Lawson tells Two Boots you got to get Riley to his mother. So do you think Two Boots is going to honor that, Mr. Follow the Rules, and try to get him in touch with his mom, and he's just going to have to like sort it out on his own? What do I do? How do I get out of here? I don't want to be here.
This is one of the reasons I am excited for season 2. Is Riley's character is very interesting to me. That he is kind of now in the core of the cast, whereas I think earlier he wasn't.
Yeah.
Definitely at the beginning, it was Lawson. Lawson was front and center of the show.
Yeah.
And now it's Riley. And that is super interesting to me. And like I said, they are setting up his character to do some crazy things potentially.
Yeah.
Almost like they did with Cassian.
Mm-hmm.
They set his character up early on in Andor. Kind of, how do you go from just this like minor to rebel general or whatever
Right.
whatever he was?
So you think he would join the rebellion? You don't think he would stay in the crime scene?
I don't know. I think there's so many. He is a blank slate of character potential.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that we're not like, because Maul has a destination. Vader has a destination. These characters, the Crow, Merrick, we know where they are and where their story ends in the future. I like that we're adding a character that doesn't seem totally meaningless. But it's like, hey, the galaxy's big. There's other characters, and we can tell their cool stories without feeling cheesy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like some people get so heated about that. Like, oh, another nobody. Like, it's a galaxy. There's billions of nobodies. Like, there's still a lot of cool stories. So I am excited to see where his character goes. I have no idea.
Yeah, I like that too. So my final question then is, do you think we will see Kira in next or later seasons? She's Dryden Voss's right hand. She's the girl in the Solo movie. She kind of slowly starts to climb the ladder, and she's actually the one that kills Dryden Voss, becomes the leader of the Crimson Dawn, and directly answers to Maul. He actually ends up training her in the Sith ways. He uses her to help raid temples to get Sith artifacts. Like, she becomes a very key character in Maul's journey toward Rebels. So I am curious if we will see her in this show at all. If there's a major time jump, we could see her interacting with Devin on different, like, Sith temple missions. I think we could very well see her in the next few seasons. I think this show will have at least 3 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge Solo fan. I've only watched it a couple of times. So, I can't really make an informed assumption. But I would imagine that we're going to begin to see more, I guess, aspects of that movie. We're going to see more details of that movie start to tie into this show, because that's what we're leading into.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, because I really want to know how he ended up on Malachor.
I think we'll see that. I really do.
Man, I hope so, because that's the question I have.
That's the question of the hour.
Yeah, how do you go from, like, I don't know, pimp, like OG, like crime boss, I guess, mafia,
To like
you know,
homeless.
he goes from like the Godfather basically to pimp was derogatory,
That's
but
crazy.
yeah, he goes from like the Godfather to this bum on Malachor.
Yeah.
Like,
He's in rags.
how did that happen?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to tie it up. So overall, how would you rate this show out of 10?
10.
Really?
10.
I'd give it an 11.
I don't. I had.
No notes.
What I loved about this show is episode 1 and 2 were good.
Right.
3 and 4 were better.
Yeah.
5 and 6 were great. 7 and 8 were awesome. And the finale was incredible. Like, the show just continued to get better and better and better. And I love that. I love that. There's nothing worse than working your way through Clone Wars and you get to an arc, you get to the droid arc, and you're just like,
Yeah.
what?
Skip.
Oh, skip.
Yeah.
This show, I love that you never feel like I'll just skip past this. Like, this isn't
Right.
important.
I can
like,
take a bathroom break.
the
Yeah.
tension builds the whole way. The character development builds the whole way. We see some plot twists, some jump scares. It's just it's excellent. It's
And the
excellent.
voice
I can't
acting-
sing high enough praises.
The voice acting, Sam Witwer really outdid himself. Like, we thought he did a good job in Clone Wars. We thought he did a good job in Rebels. But giving him his own show really allowed him to stretch his capabilities as an actor. And we saw his range loud and clear.
And the attention to detail, you know, like that you catch in the subtitles, little things here and there, little incorporations of the Duel of Fates.
Him reaching out to her in a Force dream.
Just
Crazy.
it's just the nuggets
Yeah.
are just sprinkled throughout the show. It's awesome. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, with that all kind of tied up in a bow and ready for season 2, is there anything you would like to say to close out the episode? Any final remarks?
May the Force be with you. You know, that's all I got.
Okie dokie. Well, thank you so much for joining me again this week. I had a fabulous time talking with you, and I hope that we can have you on again sometime.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, guys, this is where the fun ends. My only hope is you enjoyed, and I will yap at you again next Friday. This has been The Village Jedi. Thank you so much for listening. To support this show, please leave a rating or review wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Go check out the YouTube channel or send me an email to be read and discussed on air. You can also tell a fellow nerd to build the community. I mean this in the nerdiest way possible. May the Force be with you.